Welcome back to Actual Proper Podcast, hosted by myself, Reece Farkash, and Twila Amato. It's been so long, hasn't it?
It has been way too long. We're so sorry.
So, can you remember back to, like, when we last recorded?
Honestly, probably in the summer.
I'm thinking, like, October-ish.
What? No, I don't think so. Maybe.
Anyway, it's been crazy long.
It's been
but
way too long.
we're back, baby.
Happy New Year, I guess.
Oh, yeah, it's also 2020. Went to a whole new year.
It's been a long while.
It's been a hot minute. What,
well,
half a year?
No.
It's been a crazy long time.
It's been a long time, yeah.
Yeah, but we haven't been able to record for so long because...
For so many reasons, I think. It's just...
so much.
I mean, obviously, life happens. Life gets in the way, but also moving.
Yep.
And switching jobs and careers, I guess, in your case. So it's been a long time and a lot of work, and a lot of the times we kind of just... You're too tired to do anything. So also we didn't really have gear, I don't think. That probably factors into that.
Do we want to make sort of like a timeline for, like, you know, since we haven't recorded, to, like, I guess catch people up? So what first happened? Well, just right after October, like early November, you moved away from where the city that we're living in.
Yeah, I moved away, changed jobs. So that was the main driver for that move.
Got a sweet job offer.
Definitely cushier than the last one.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, it's still hard work. Don't get me wrong. Anything in media and sort of like journalism is always going to be hard work, and you're always doing a lot. But definitely, this one.
The job you had was definitely like a first. It was like a step. Job. It was like the stepping stone job.
For sure. And so this one, it's definitely one of those instances where I guess I gotta just say never, because I had always said that I wasn't going to be a video journalist. But that is exactly my job now. Is I am a video journalist, and I deal mainly in video news and editing and shooting and then writing. But that's not even really, like, online writing isn't even really like my main concern. It's video production. And I'd always said I'd never do that, but here I am doing just that every single day. So, but I'm not complaining because it's really good. You find your groove after a while, right? So, and I've always loved. And
you found that you enjoy it even more than what you're doing before.
Right, exactly. And I mean, don't get me wrong, even in broadcasting college, like, I'd always loved, you know, video editing and shooting. And so that was always something that I wanted to pursue. It's just that for news purposes, I didn't think I'd last in it, but here we are. I like to think I'm doing an okay job, at least. It's kind of weird.
You're doing amazing. You're killing it. But
thank you.
Yeah, that means new city.
Yeah,
and like moving. City. Yeah, pro tip: if you ever move off an island, it sucks. That
wasn't a pro tip. That was just a complaint.
Yeah, I guess the pro tip would be prepare your mental fortitude for how much it sucks.
For sure. It takes so long, but it's also so expensive. And I mean, moving in general is very expensive, but because you're moving off of an island, there are added costs
and stresses.
Yeah, for sure. So
it's like, oh, what if you're moving that day? Not only do you have to pay insane ferry fees for moving like big trucks, but also like, oh, you know, what if the ferry just doesn't run that day? Because that happens so frequently that it's just like, oh, it's just canceled for today. Oh, okay, well, I have to be at a place by a certain time or something like that.
On top of that,
and then you have to pay hotel fees.
Yeah,
and it just gets insane.
There are blockages or blockades that are happening right now with kind of like solidarity rallies going on across the country. And
for the Wet'suwet'en.
Yeah, so that's a big thing right now. And you know, just a couple of weeks ago, actually, they did blockade the ferry terminals. main ferry terminals.
Were those on the
into and out of
mainland going?
Victoria.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there you go. So things like that happen all the time. So, but also weather events, you can't really avoid that.
Yeah, and unfortunately, they're so frequent in that area.
Yeah, totally.
That it's unfortunately super common. And then, of course, if you're, the ferry just could be full.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
have to wait for like another 4 hours.
Yeah, no. So it definitely you gotta prepare a lot.
Yeah.
I think mentally and emotionally, because there is a lot of stress and anxiety that moving in general is very stress inducing and anxiety inducing. But again, there is that added like factor of moving off of an island or into an island, depending on where you're coming from. If you want to move to Vancouver Island, it's a lot of work.
Could you imagine moving to Hawaii?
No.
In the middle of the ocean?
I would not want to do that.
Oh,
Hawaii
I
is
wouldn't
beautiful.
bring anything with me.
Hawaii is beautiful,
at all.
but I would not want to move there. It's expensive.
Yeah, insane. But so that was the first thing that happened. So so you moved here where we live now in Kelowna, the beautiful Okanagan.
It is.
I love Kelowna so much.
Unironically.
Like I love it. Out of all the places I lived, it's definitely my number one, I think.
You talk a lot about Kelowna.
I talk a lot, and I've enjoyed my time here already, even though it's the winter and coming from the island to the mainland where it's cold winters and snow.
Oh my gosh,
it's been
you would
really
not
nice,
believe.
and I've loved every second.
I love how I'm just like, you would not believe how cold it is in the Okanagan. But
it's like minus 20.
And then there are some
like
people in Edmonton with like minus 40 degree weather.
And like a ton of snow.
I'm sorry, not to complain or anything, but it's kind of cold.
It's not bad.
No, it's not bad at all. I feel like the Okanagan is a very happy medium of not too much rain, but also not too much snow. And I feel, so I have lived, in the East Coast where there's a lot of snow, and I have experienced, like complete whiteouts, but I've never driven in that kind of condition. This is the first time that I am actually driving in full on snow, like fluffy snow, but also like snowstorms. So that was very intimidating to begin with, but I feel like I've gotten a good handle on that. So
right, and we're already out of the snow period anyway.
We're
so
already.
It only lasts like a week.
The springtime definitely is coming, so that's always nice. So
But so that was the first thing that happened in the timeline, and then we didn't obviously record for a few months, and that's where we got kicked off track. Is that it started there when you had moved, and we were living in different cities. While I was looking for a job here in Kelowna, and then during that time, eventually I moved here early December, and then just a few days before I moved here is when I was in a car accident.
Fun times.
So
it was a fun time.
It's still not resolved, and that was months and months ago. That was 3 months ago.
Yikes.
And this adds to all the reasons why we haven't recorded and why it's been so stressful.
Yeah.
Is 3 months to have to be just dealing with bureaucratic nonsense is just absolutely insane. It's not been fun at all.
ICBC.
And that happened, it's got to be the worst nightmare to be in an accident right before you move.
For sure.
Because ICBC, of course, and whatever insurance you're with in the country, it's you're not allowed to move your vehicles or anything like that, while before they look at them and stuff like that, before it's all resolved. But I was moving the next couple days,
you couldn't.
and then I just didn't hear back from the insurance people for weeks and weeks, and that's been a constant battle I've been having to fight so much, is just how badly they've been handling the situation.
He's so stressed he's actually breaking out.
So much. I'm so glad this is a podcast.
They won't see your zits.
I can wear my sweatpants and then just have a zit-filled face, and no one will know.
That's funny. But I mean, speaking of, I guess, new beginnings, right? And
eventually I did get here.
Yeah, you got here. So I feel like that's what matters, is you got to your end goal, which is move here. So
exactly,
you're starting your new life.
Exactly, and I have a cool new job, which is pretty rad. It's a part-time job for now, but it's something that I really want to be doing. It's a different field than I was working before, obviously broadcasting, but with the podcast I can still do a lot of I'd say it's more of the fun part about broadcasting,
Yeah,
and less
definitely, for sure.
about the corporate side. It's just the fun getting to talk and have it being recorded.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, the new field that I'm working in is a combination photography, videography, obviously the editing for that, social media management, and motion graphics animating and image
Which
editing.
everybody loves.
Oh, thanks. So I've been very fortunate to be able to do this, and that's something that I really want to do and pursue. So I've been super lucky in that I found a position like that, and then just like I just want to find something, of course, with a bit more hours for that. But it's awesome for now, and to find out that like you really do like it a lot. But yeah, that's been super fun in order to like a little bit of I guess just a little bit of self-discovery, as well as we've both been getting into new things as well here.
For sure.
A lot to just like get out of the house, as well as
Well,
self-enrichment, or like
self-enrichment,
it helps
but
with
also
your mental fortitude as well, to just get out and do things and learn new things.
But
and that
also,
kind of stuff.
again, with the whole, getting into a new city, obviously there are more things to do, or other things to do, right? Because,
each city
Campbell
has kind
River-
of like their own things.
Yeah, but also Campbell River was smaller. There's just
Of
not
course.
a lot of things to do, or maybe a lot of people to hang out with, which is totally fine. That's not a complaint. It's just, that's just
It was
how
rural.
Campbell River.
Yeah, it was rural.
But then with Kelowna, obviously it's a bigger city. There are more people here. There's a whole lot more younger people here, for sure. I mean, just the office alone that I work in, everybody's young.
We work in.
We
now.
work in.
We both work together again.
Because
Surprise.
we're co-workers again.
Yeah.
But even that, everybody's young, right? I mean, the only older quote unquote people there are like the sales team, really. Everybody else is younger. So even then, so you get a lot of, I guess, young vibes, young energy. So you're definitely a lot more, let's hang out, let's do this, let's do that. So
yeah, being around young people again has been like a huge change. That I'm not, like, for me, like, holy man, I haven't been around young people in so long, and I felt like I've grown 40 years in those like few years.
Okay, grandpa. Anyway, so
I feel so old.
So I guess on a list of new things in my life, at least.
So what you doing?
Well, I started trying.
What are you doing?
I started curling, which is way out of my league, but also way different than anything I had ever done ever. And sort of, I never in a million years thought I would start curling. It's just not one, like, you watch it and you're kind of like, oh, whatever, who does that? Who throws rocks around like ice? Who, like,
who scoots around?
Yeah, who
out
scoots
there
around
on the ice?
And who has like little broom things on the ice and goes like sweep? And I'm like, no, that's for dorks. I'm never gonna do that. And here I am.
So how did you get into it?
So a bunch of the people at the office were just like, hey, we're gonna form a curling club. And I was just like, what? What do you mean? I mean, join a curling club. And I was like, what? And they wanted a news team. I was just like, I mean, I guess I'll join. I'm kind of lonely. I'm new to Kelowna. I'm wanting to try new things. So here they are saying that we're going to be doing curling.
And we want you.
Yeah. And I'm just like, I'm the noodliest person ever. I don't understand why you think like I'm good for curling, but let's do it. And so now we're curling, and it's really fun, actually.
So what's the thing you like most about it?
What I like about it, I honestly think it's just because.
Ooh, here's a better question.
What?
What is something that you think is more fun than you thought it would be about curling?
That question doesn't make sense. What?
What's something that you thought what's something that you think is more fun than you thought it would be looking at the sport?
Oh, throwing the rocks is actually really, really fun. I feel like that's the most fun out of the game itself, like curling itself. But I think just plain hanging out with your coworkers after work, obviously, and not talking about work or not worrying about work and getting to know them as people outside of the workplace, I think has been really, really nice. And not in a way where, you know, it's different when I guess you hang out with them, like at a bar, say, or something, like where it's really loud and it's not really good, like, conversation, like, environment, you know? But for some reason, like, the rink is just so much better than that.
It's like it's a united activity.
Yeah, exactly.
That sparks, you know, natural conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
That kind of stuff. You know, it's an easy, I guess, icebreaker into conversation.
Totally.
It's team sports bonding thing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But something I noticed with just watching curling is that golfing and curling share so many similarities where it's like, you know, it is a sport that trends a little to the older demographic, but even with young people playing, which is what I've been watching, I see why. Because it's a relaxed sport that there's a lot of downtime during to chat and that kind of stuff.
Right. I guess I understand.
It's like a hangout sport, and it also, like, it goes on for a long time.
Right.
It's like a hangout sport with your buds, with the boys.
Yeah, that's true.
The boys.
Oh no, he did it.
You bring your over 50 boys and you go curling or golfing.
Oh no.
You know what I'm talking about.
Boys. Are you 50? Secretly 50?
I feel like I'm older than 50.
80.
But also, that's the juxtaposition, is that I don't like curling.
Okay, anyway, so what's been new with you?
So the thing that I've been getting into is programming, specifically in the Python programming language, specifically Python 2.
Oh, wait. There are specific versions of Python?
Yeah, of course. Like with coding languages, there's different versions of them because they're, of course, always being updated. Kind of like, you know, computers and phones and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So I've been learning a lot of Python 2, and it's been really fun, you know, because I've had so much downtime just working part-time. Like I can just go somewhere and then just hang out for a few hours. And
educate yourself.
Yeah, just use that time to, I guess, just learn new skills and stuff, which is how I got into this field that I'm doing anyways, because I just taught myself when I had free time.
Right.
And now that's my career.
Yeah,
so
that's kind of cool.
I've been very fortunate that way. But so I've been taking a crack at that. And like, of course, I don't really see myself pursuing actual programming as a career. I just like doing it for a hobby.
Yeah.
I just think it's fun. So
totally.
I just like making some nifty programs and stuff.
That's true.
But it's been super fun. If you're someone who is if you like to build things and don't have money for materials like wood, or you just don't want to, you know, go to Home Depot all the time making runs, well, I'd recommend taking a shot at programming. You can get you know what? Go curling. Screw programming. Go curling. Get yourself a membership. Get yourself the boys and go.
Go curling.
But there is free, I guess, learning to program resources online. I use Code Academy a lot, which it's a bit of a controversial learning technique.
Why is it
or learning platform? Because I guess just kind of like with any way, there's different ways of learning.
Okay.
And but it's a good base to start off of, and it's free. So a lot of their courses are free, which I've been taking. So
coding has always been an interesting thing to me, at least. Like, it's definitely always interested me, but I've always been very intimidated by it. It's one of those things that's just, it seems very overwhelming, you know, and especially when I see people doing it, dealing with codes and stuff like that. It's just like, how did you learn that? How do you know all those things? How can you type them all out so fast? And they're not even real words. They're like numbers. It's kind of strange. And so it's just, I'm always amazed by people who code, for sure, and seeing people and watching people code. But I'd like to learn it one day, but it seems like a lot.
If you were to code anything, what would it be? Would it be like programs or websites or apps, or kind of what do you see yourself making? Apps is the cool one.
They're all cool to me, though. I would probably, I don't know. I mean, I don't really have any app ideas, so probably not an app, but like maybe a website to start off with, because I feel like that's the most common and perhaps the easiest kind of like thing to code.
Yeah, I learned a bunch of HTML and CSS last year,
Right.
like probably through the summer.
I used to have
it's really quite straightforward and easy.
Right. Yeah. I used to have a live journal when that was a thing, and it was just an online blog, and it was basically like WordPress in the sense that it was very I guess you can design your own site, your own blog, right? And there were many ways to do that, and I learned a lot of HTML and like CSS off of that, so which has come in quite handy because my current job now, the platform that we use for like the news site and stuff like that, there's a specific button to do
it's
HTML.
A homemade
Right.
Well, it's kind of cool.
But I didn't know that a button existed specifically for like HTML codes, and it basically like programs it for you. But then before I knew that button existed, I would program, like put in my own like HTML and CSS, like a little bit anyways. And my boss comes in, she's like, hey, are you coding?
What the heck are you doing, kid?
And she's like, there's a button for that. It's like right there. And I was just like, oh, I can't believe I'd been that dumb and blind. But like sometimes it comes in handy. So I do see the use for it, especially now with how, how technologically advanced we are, right? It's a thing that we all do, maybe unknowingly, right? So it is a thing to learn. I think it's very useful.
So we're back.
Mm-hmm.
We do new things. We live in a new city.
Yes.
What else
It's
do we
been
do that's
exciting.
new? Or what else is new?
Oh, you know what? I would say
It's a new year, too.
Yeah, but I have no resolutions. I'm not one of those people. I'm not one of those good people who make New Year's resolutions. I just don't. I'm a sad like person that way.
Do you know what I noticed about 2020?
What?
No one gives a flying heck about resolutions anymore. I think that's such a previous generation thing to do.
It's funny
No
because
one cares. I heard someone mention resolutions maybe 3 times in all of 2020 or leading up to.
Okay, look, it's only been 2 months into 2020. Let's slow down here.
Yeah, but all of those resolutions were given up 2 months ago.
But no, I think it really differs from person to person, because I have heard a lot of people make New Year's resolutions, but I've also heard the other side of that, which is I don't make resolutions, and I think resolutions are dumb. Like, you don't need, a quote unquote clean slate or a new year to start a new goal, which is totally fair. I believe that also. But yeah, I don't know. I just never make resolutions. When I have a goal, it's just a goal, I guess. It's not necessarily like a huge, like, I'm going to change my life around. I'm going to stop eating carbs and I'm going to
stop vaping this year.
That's not a resolution.
And also, it would never be true. Do you ever know one who's stopped vaping? I don't.
Oh, I thought you said start vaping. I was just like, that's not a good thing to say. No, actually.
Yeah, I always hear like, this smokers who start vaping and then either do both or just vape. Yeah. Doing both, man.
You know what?
Jeez, how hardcore are you?
Right, exactly.
I never hear of people actually using like vaping to what was actually originally like supposed to be
to wean you off of
exactly like an intermediary thing. Like I've never actually. I think like I've seen more vaping addiction than I have smoking, because I guess in the years I grew up, smoking was more of a faux pas.
Was it?
Yeah. So
I grew up around
there wasn't a lot
of
of smokers like at school and stuff.
Really?
But I like in the older generations, like there was more smokers. But
are you calling me older generation?
Was there a lot of smokers like when you went to school? You're a few years older than me.
Reveal that to the world, why don't you? No, I grew up around a lot of smokers, from like family members to people like just a little older than me, but also the high school that I went to, mind you, this is an inner city school that I went to, and it wasn't during that time anyway, about 10 years ago. I'm dating myself. Oof. But 10 years ago, it was
What year was it?
2010. Okay. You can
Everyone 10 years ago means it was 2010.
Anyway, so yeah, 10 years ago, like that high school that I went to definitely was a little more like ghetto. But now with, you know, it's all correlated obviously with like rising house prices and how a lot of the people from other places in Vancouver got pushed into this neighborhood, which is now a little ritzier than it used to be. So changing times. But anyway.
What? Does this
so basically
smoking? What?
Okay, so going back to smoking, yeah, there were a lot of smokers in my high school growing up.
Oh, really?
So, yes.
Okay, well there you have it. I guess I was just in that really nice like grace period between smoking and vaping.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
So yeah, I've seen so many vapors than I have smokers.
Oh, for
like,
sure.
in my life.
Now I see a whole lot more vapors for sure.
Oh yeah. Geez, I would love to know the statistics between smoking and vaping and see if vaping is more popular than
I'm sure I can dig
smoking.
around and find it.
Like than it was at its peak. I'm sure it's not because I mean
vaping's
smoking
only
cigarettes was, you know, everyone smoked cigarettes back in the day. But like it's getting up there, vaping.
Yeah, but I mean, I think one of the reasons too that it's so attractive is obviously it looks attractive to do that. It's the hip
It's rad.
thing.
You get a cool machine.
Like, yeah, exactly.
Or just a jewel.
It's a hip thing to do, but also I think it's because it's a lot less sort of like intrusive than smoking in the sense of like scent, because with smoking you can smell it from like, you know, miles away almost, you know what I mean? Like, well, not miles away, but like you can tell when someone's smoking. And when someone is vaping or juuling or whatever, like it smells nice, right? And sometimes it's even scentless, right? Like I have, you know, a friend who vapes in his car and it doesn't smell like anything. And even when you're in the car with him, you're not bothered. You know what I mean?
Would you say vaping is more socially acceptable than smoking?
I feel like it is because of that. Exactly, because it's a lot less intrusive like that. And it's almost not rude to vape. Do you know what I mean? Because it doesn't smell bad. And, you know.
Yeah, in more of a public setting.
Right,
Even
exactly.
though, like, you can't now because there's designated smoking
right.
vaping zones.
Right, exactly. But at the same time.
But, like, you wouldn't be as mad or as aggressive to someone who's vaping beside you as opposed to smoking.
Exactly. And, I mean, I've seen fights. And, again, this is back in Vancouver where someone would light a cigarette and someone would basically nearly punch them for doing that at bus stops. Yeah, because they're like, you're so rude, why don't you think about anybody else around you who doesn't smoke, basically.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but
I don't understand these struggles because I've never breathed out of my nose, so I've never, like, the smells never bothered me because I just don't smell normally.
So
I'm like, imagine being blind but being like, you can't smell, and that's my life.
So to describe Reece physically, he doesn't have a nose. He's like
I have a really
Voldemort.
large nose, but it doesn't work. It's so counterintuitive. It's all of the drawbacks.
Reece is a little defective in the nose area.
Yeah, so I just don't smell normally. So like,
yeah, no,
it's never bothered me. But that's crazy that people are feel so strongly about it.
So exactly, but I mean, with vapors, you don't really hear things like that. But of course, now, you know, you're seeing a lot of pushback in terms of like health and stuff like that with what's being reported in the media and what have you, people getting sick because of vaping, or, you know, allegedly because of vaping. So it's still very hazy because, I mean, it's early days, right? And early stages of people getting sick, allegedly, again, from vaping, but also because vaping is such a new phenomenon. So like, you don't really know. There's a lot that we don't know.
And like, by the time the adults find out about it, it's already been in place for like 6 months. So behind the curve, man. I was listening to CBC radio months and months ago, sometime in the summer, and they're like, there's this new thing called vaping, and I just heard about it like last week, and this is like like someone very high up in like the health sector, and I was like,
oh no,
what?
It's been around for a while.
It's been around for years. Where have you been, and why aren't you in tune with what's like, you know, because it's such like a heavy force on like the current like health situation.
But I think that speaks to how, like, I guess, and this is just what naturally happens, right, is as you get older, you kind of start getting out of touch with current situations and stuff like that, because, you know, sometimes you get stuck in your ways, sometimes it's just overwhelming to keep track of all the new things, because I mean,
where do you go to learn about, like, if you were like 60, where do you go to learn about, like, the things that kids are doing? Like,
golf.
You go to golf and you ask the boys and you be like, yo, what's your teenage son's or daughter's up to?
Right,
like,
exactly.
I have no clue. But, like, you know, if you're at that age, like, you're not on social media, and, like, even if you are on social media, you're not in the right circles anyway.
Right, exactly.
There's no way that you would know.
Yeah, no, it's just, yeah. So once you get up there in age, I think, you know, and I'm not saying that, you know, all old people are bad. They're not. It's
or not everyone on, like, that in the health sector is old.
Right, exactly.
But, like,
you just
this just
become,
happened to be, like, the one I was
listening to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, that's just what happens, is you start to get a little out of touch, and that's just how it is.
Yeah, I feel pretty out of touch right now, and I've been out of high school for 5 years. Man, do I ever feel out of... Oh, my God. I should put that on airplane. I'm sorry.
Podcast etiquette, Reese.
Do not disturb. That's the couch rule. Also, yeah, we record on a couch now. It's rad. It's way more comfy. You get to put on blankets and stuff.
Okay.
Just kidding. I think that'll take off the edge of this podcast.
I think so.
Our broadcasting edge will be gone. We'll just be in our ways.
I feel like we were never professional.
Putting on a blanket on the couch is just like vaping.
Yeah, but, like, no one has to know that, though, because no one can see.
Yeah, fair warning. I am wearing sweatpants right now. Mismatched socks. This is what I look like right now. Mismatched socks. That's how we started off.
Okay.
Sweatpants from college. Polo shirt. That's that's the fit today, boys.
It's such a weird outfit.
That's what happens when you don't go to work for one day. Nothing's the same color.
Oh, God. Okay, this has devolved.
Haven't cleaned my glasses in a long time.
You never clean your glasses. They're always murky, so sometimes he's like, are you seeing what I'm seeing? I'm like, well, no, because my glasses are clean and yours aren't.
Okay, it gets to the point where, like, when I clean my glasses and I look out at them, my eyes genuinely hurt because we're not used to seeing at this HD quality. I think using my glasses with how, like, dirty they are, guys, clean your glasses, because it's just like looking out of your eyes without glasses at one point. Just put your glasses on the ground and stomp on them. Might as well.
Don't listen to
Clean your
Reese.
glasses.
That's not sound advice. Okay, anyway. Moving on.
I think that's about it.
That's what I mean. Moving on. That's about it.
Yeah, we're back, baby, and that's it.
Not making.
Also, we have an awesome new announcement that I completely forgot to bring up at all.
Wait,
so if you're a listener who turned off, like, in the first, like, 10 seconds, you didn't hear this. This is for you, special all the way through listeners. But this is just for you.
Okay. I feel like I am completely floored right now. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, you haven't heard of the announcement that we've been working on for like 6 months?
What?
So, we have a new show coming out. Also, we're back. You thought we couldn't handle this show? Well, we're doing another on top of this.
And we'll also not be able to handle that one.
That requires more work. But if you're ready for 2 artists that are the worst at drawing, well, this is for you. If you want to look at bad art and 20 minutes it takes to get there, well, that's DRAWfective, baby.
You're really selling this.
Go on YouTube, follow DRAWfective. It's a YouTube channel.
Woohoo! We promise not to be drunk.
Go follow it. You know, ring that bell icon. Is that what they say on YouTube? I think so.
Yeah.
I always turn it off at that point.
Subscribe to my channel.
Yeah, subscribe.
And
Subscribe.
click the bell icon so you're notified every time we have a new post.
Doesn't it do that when you follow people on YouTube though?
You know what, to be honest, I have no idea.
Huh. We're old. Anyway, DRAWfective. Go follow it on Twitter too. I made a Twitter account.
You made a Twitter account?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I hate Twitter so much, but I did it. I think if it gets minimum 10 followers, I'll actually like post stuff often.
Oh, okay. Well, he
do
has
that.
promised something.
Yeah, so DRAWfective.
Help
not a
Reece
hard
deliver on his
date for
promises.
when it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
But it's gonna be out soon.
But it will come out.
Follow
someday.
the DRAWfective Twitter
Somehow.
and I'll post on there. Here's the deal. Once the episode is out, I'll post on Twitter. So you have to go on Twitter and actually follow us and check in every day for when it comes out. And I promise you, between 1 week and a year from now, maybe more, maybe 1 week, it'll be out.
But
it's going to be amazing. So
what
please,
if our
please go head
listeners
over there.
don't have Twitter?
What are you, some kind of scrub? Even I have Twitter. Never used it.
Wait,
I have
you don't have Twitter. You deleted your Twitter.
Oh.
Didn't
Well, this
you?
is awkward. I guess I don't. I don't even know.
The last tweet you had was like a Game of Thrones tweet.
Oh, man. That was when I was living here in Kelowna last, I think.
Yeah. It was quite some time ago. That was
Yeah.
your last tweet.
I think I'll just get rid of that. If you want to know like what kind of grilled cheese I'm making each day, follow DRAWfective.
Oh, no.
Post it there. That'll be mine. But yeah, please go do that. And if we get
Follow
over
us.
10 followers, we'll make a
Mhm.
Patreon.
Ooh.
That Patreon, you know what you'll
Spicy.
get for it? This is it.
What?
You'll get a bonus episode.
Of what?
Not only this podcast, but also DRAWfective.
Ooh.
So you may
Promises.
ask, what happens if I only like DRAWfective or only like app?
Mm-hmm.
Do I have to get both for the same price? The answer?
What's the answer?
Yes. You do have to get both. Just think of DRAWfective as app at home. When you just want to, you want some buddies to do bad art with that you can't interact with at all.
Aww.
You can send us a message on Twitter. That's your interaction. But think about this podcast, as DRAWfective minus the art, but in the car or while you're doing dishes. Whatever you're doing.
It sounds a
Download
lot
it
like
from
what you would do.
Spotify.
Okay, anyway.
Okay, and that's the podcast. All right, go follow DRAWfective on Twitter. Let's get that above 10 by the end of this year.
We'll catch you guys later.
All right, adios. Bye-bye.
Bye.